Start recording. How's it going? Welcome to TAC Chat number 46. I'm Dan, and my website is spiritualanarchist93.com. And no means not. We don't believe you. We're not having this, and we're not slaves. No means not. So I was actually going to let this year just kind of ride out and not do any more podcasts and just, start back up next year. And then I thought about it. I'm like, maybe I should do one last podcast. This is TAC Chat number 46. Get one last one in for the year. And what I like to do at the end of the year is, for me, especially between Christmas and New Year's, it becomes a period of self-reflection and introspection. And it's a three-part process for me. First and foremost, what do I have gratitude for in the year that just went by? And that's the most important thing. What am I happy about? Where's my gratitude? Because it wasn't a bad year overall, even though we're in the middle of a worldwide psyop trying to help people realize they're enslaved. The other thing I like to do is, hey, what did I do good? What did I accomplish? Did I accomplish what I set out to accomplish? Did I fall short on some of those things? What did I completely miss the mark on? What can I improve next year? What are my goals for next year? And I'm not one of these people that likes to set New Year's resolutions. But I think without self-reflection, introspection, there can be no forward growth. And this is an internal process. So I don't have to get up here and name off everything I think I did good. Every single thing I think I did bad, and every single thing I think I'm grateful for, but it's the process itself, the process of reflecting, to improve, to expand with consciousness, with love. And I'll just start off by saying that I'm grateful for the resources that I have. I'm grateful that I've been able to help and donate to various things here and there. And I wasn't really as good with money as I should be. I'm not rich, but I'm grateful for that. And you got to always remain eternally grateful for that. I'm grateful for the friends and mentors that have entered my life. One of the main things I'm grateful for is the people that I've met through, the freedom and truth community. And there's a lot of differences in the community, but the main takeaway for me is, you see, before this pandemic started, this pandemic, before it started 3 years ago, loneliness was already an epidemic. I mean, it really was. And when you're really truly spiritually awakened, you're awake, not woke, to what's going on in the world. You can feel really lonely sometimes in your own circle of friends and family. Some of the most spiritually gifted people I know, who have very high psychic abilities, and they use these spiritual gifts to help people. They're good people. Still, they vote. We've all been socially engineered to act and do and be a certain way. I voted one time in my life. And I only did that because, I was influenced by my wife to vote. And I voted Democrat. I voted for John Kerry back in 2004. I might have said this once before. And if anybody wants to know the power of TV or the power of marketing, I wanted Bush Jr. out of office just because I knew the war was fake. And, you see a commercial where he joined the Texas Air National Guard and to avoid the war. And then you see a picture of John Kerry in the, jungles of Vietnam. I'm like, well, okay, if we're going to be sending people to war, maybe that's the person to have in office. That's all I knew about politics. I just looked at that, and that's what a lot of people do. Anyway, prior to fully awakening, I was a voter too, or I thought about voting. I'm starting to have a little more, I would say, patience and compassion for people. Friends and family, sometimes you'll talk to them about what's going on and their eyes kind of glaze over and they don't get it. And all you can do, I realized, and that's something I learned this year that I'm also grateful for, all you can do is put out the message, and they can't unhear it once they've heard it, and maybe sooner or later it'll settle in. So I started to learn how to do this job that I've, want to do a little bit better. That's another thing I'm grateful for. But loneliness was a pandemic before all this stuff started. And to see a bunch of people to one degree or another who are awake to what's going on in the world, I don't feel as alone. And I got to meet and talk with a lot of those people. So some of the things I think I accomplished this year, in retrospect, looking back, is I took more action. I reached out and contacted people. I got to talk to people who I respect. I got to talk to Mark Passio. I called his show. It took action. I sent out correspondences to like some big name people out there. Joe Rogan, I didn't hear back from him. What's his name? David Greer, I believe. Yeah, does a CE5 protocol. Didn't hear back from him either. And David Icke. I heard back from David Icke. So, hey, I got to interview David Icke. I got to interview a couple other people. That was pretty cool and have them on my podcast. I got interviewed by several people. All that was good stuff, man. More than I thought I was going to accomplish as far as some of that stuff is concerned. Where did I drop the ball? I think I dropped the ball at Float Fest. I was so happy to be around my tribe. I really could have gotten up and talked. It wouldn't have been that hard to get up there for 5-10 minutes and talk. They would have let me. So that's something I could try to remedy the next year coming up. What else could I have done? Maybe I could have gotten better at this, more technical. Maybe, becoming a true media next year. Maybe next year I'll take that seminar. This year I just couldn't afford it. Maybe I'll, put away for it. I have gotten a little bit better at it, but I could have done better. I know I could have done better. One thing I am very happy about this year is, when you're doing this stuff, you bring it all back to the domain of causation, which is people not living in accordance to natural law. And one of the things I really began to understand better this year was I began to have a much deeper understanding of natural law than I had prior to this year. I'm very thankful for that. It helped me a lot with my own problems, and it'll make me a better teacher to pass this word on, because in the domain of causation, it's where natural law is at, because it's not being adhered to. People are, they're moral relativists. They think man makes up the law. They think morals are subjective, and karmic law or natural law is always in effect, and what you put out is what you get back. And I think teaching that stuff and understanding that stuff more deeply is something that will allow me to pass it on better. So I need to really wrap some things back in, for this next year. What I plan on doing is, this year I've shot from the hip a lot. I just start talking. So I've shot from the hip a lot. I plan on being a little more surgical this next year in what I'm going to talk about and bring it all back into natural law. But these are the type of reflections that I have. There's many more. I'm not going to sit up here and bore people with everything I think I did okay and didn't do okay and where I could improve. But these are the types of things we have to be honest with ourselves about, is what I'm saying. And then move ahead and do better next year. Set goals, accomplish those goals. Don't set huge goals, okay? Set realistic goals, and then get to those, and then set some more as the year goes on. I would like to interview more people, be interviewed more. I've got some plans to maybe, get out there a little larger. I think the idea would be, hey, here's this guy who was a cop. He's turned anarchist, and he had all these unhealthy coping mechanisms that he talks about. It could be a little interesting. Maybe it'll bring more people to natural law. That's kind of the idea anyway. In the meantime, I really want to have outreach to my fellow ex-order followers, because the power brokers of this world, okay, they mitigate the negative consequential effects of their actions by having other people take those actions, okay? Old people get into arguments, they can't get along, and they make young people travel all over the world and murder one another. That's simplifying it. But they get others to take their actions, and that's police and military. And, the actions you put out there when you hurt people, doesn't matter if you think you're doing good, because they've obfuscated what is moral. So, hey, you're just doing your job. You think you're doing good. I got news for you. Natural law knows you're not doing good, and you are going to suffer the consequential effects, the negative consequential effects of your actions that you're taking for these old dusty fucks. Maybe that's another thing I'll try and do this year, not swear as much. I don't know. It's kind of hard. But yeah, I wanted to put out a tag chat, just just another message. I say too much. Gratitude. Gratitude's so important. We still got a lot of good stuff going on in the world. I'm happy that we have so many people who are waking up. It seems like there's a lot more people waking up. The End of Slavery Summit was awesome. Thank you, Corey. There's still information on there I haven't gone through or seen. I plan on watching everyone's work on that. I've probably only gone through maybe a third of the interviews myself that I was a part of. That's good stuff. If I was to give because I'm kind of new to the truth and freedom community, just a few years in, right? And I've met a lot of people. But I still got the outsider's kind of point of view. And if I was to just, from an outsider, brand new, coming in, looking at it, I'd say, hey, let's put our differences aside, not talk about other people's work, unless it's really that atrocious. Then we should try to help them, And I've certainly have received help, and I thank all of you who've given it. Very grateful for that, actually. I'm grateful that I was given a safe place to speak. Okay, because shame goes to die in safe places to speak. I'm going to talk surgically about a lot of this stuff next year. Stuff I put in my book, Rise from Darkness. I'm going to talk about it. By the way, that book and a bunch of other information is for free on Spiritual Anarchist 93 / free media. Okay, or spiritualanarchist93.com/free media. Lots of free books and information on there that you can just read on there or download them yourself. But yeah, I think that's just something I wanted to say for this year. It's an introspective part of the year for me, and I would encourage everybody just to be introspective. How can we get together now? Where does our power lie? Because this medium is important of communication, but I think nothing will replace in-person communication, in-person action. Nothing will replace that, and I'd like to see a little more of that. And put aside certain petty differences that people end up having. Get rid of the competition. Don't worry if someone else's work is better than yours. I've gotten to the point recently where I'm not even really watching a lot of people's stuff. I'm just not. I'm focused on what I want to do next year. I'm focused on hopefully improving this kind of stuff, and I've been watching a lot of stuff. It's not just watching isn't doing anything. So I get this. I get this. Don't be hard on yourself. That's something else too. I'm not going to sit here and be real hard on myself. It's if you're too hard on yourself, it's really you're disempowering yourself. Just have an objective view of where you dropped the ball a little bit or what you could have done better. Be objective about it, truthful about it, and then move on. It's empowering when you do it that way. But that's just a thought that I would put out there to anybody who sees this. And we'll see what the next year brings. I was going to not do anything the rest of the year. I'm like, maybe I should do just one more, just one more. Don't ride it out. Do at least one more for the year. And then hopefully next year do a much better job in getting the word out in what's going on in the world right now, because people, they really are mind controlled by the television that tells lies to your vision. They really are mind controlled by the programming that they're seeing on that screen. And no matter what you do, you can't get away from it. They're being it's being thrown at people 24/7. So anyway, I just wanted to get up here and say that. I probably rambled. Next year, I don't plan on shooting from the hip as much. I'm going to get a little more surgical. And until next year, when I do my next first podcast, Tag Chat 47. You guys all stay safe. Have a happy, safe holiday. And, these frost giants here in the Northeast are attacking. Stay off the roads. Okay. Stay healthy.